Whenever you navigate to the platform, this can be done via ans.app or edu.ans.app, you'll be able to sign in via the login button at the top right. Here you have several login methods, and after clicking on login, you will be redirected to your personal dashboard. In this dashboard, you will be able to see at the top the ANS logo and the purple bar. The ANS logo, if you use that whenever you're in the platform but you would like to return to this page, then you can click on the logo. Also in the purple bar, at the right side, you will see several icons. The top right icon, the user menu, redirects you to your personal account settings, and you can easily change the language of the platform. Additionally, we also have the help menu, which redirects you to the help center. This help center is designed to help you with instructional articles about the platform. We have articles written for administrators, employees, and students. And if you ever would like to get some more information about a workflow in the platform or a functionality in the platform, please take a look in these sections. You will find step-by-step guides, instructional steps, and videos to help you along. Now I'm navigating back to the platform. And here I'm back in my personal dashboard. Below the ANS logo, you will find your name, your role, and the institute you're part of. Below that, you will find several courses and question banks that you're assigned to. This could differ per person because not everyone is assigned to the same courses and question banks. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will find recent activity. Here you will find, for example, assignments that are ready to be graded or assignments that are published for the students to see. Below, you will find live assignments. These are assignments that are currently live and available for the students to take. And below that, you will see the scheduled assignments. This overview helps students and teachers to easily find their assignment. Now I'm clicking on my institute, and this will guide me to the next page. In the institute, you will see the courses and the question banks, which are also the same as with the slides in the first video. I will first start with the question banks, and then we'll explain to you the page. I'm redirected to the question banks, and here you can see all of the question banks I'm assigned to. For now, I will open up a new question bank by clicking on the blue link. But if you see this orange button here at the top, this means that you're allowed to create a new question bank. This can be done by filling in the name of the question bank and clicking Create. For now, I will open up a question bank that is already there. Here we're redirected to another page, but again you will see this menu with the tabs at the top of the page. We will focus on the exercises, question bank assignments, and the objectives. But if you would like to add your colleagues as contributors to the question bank, you can do so in this tab. If you would like to set the settings of the question bank, you can do so by clicking on Settings. First, we will start with the objectives, as these are the cornerstones of your question bank. Objectives are used for multiple reasons in the ANS platform. To begin, you will start with creating your objectives based on domains. By attaching these objectives to your questions, you will make sure that the questions in your assignment all fit with the learning outcomes of your course. Additionally, when generating an assignment, this can also be done based on a blueprint, and the blueprint is based on your objectives. Lastly, in the statistics and the analytics of your assignment, you will be able to analyze how well the students performed on the objectives. And this will help you further improve your course for next semester, but it will also help you guide in the ways on how to improve the overall education. So using objectives is something that we would recommend. Therefore, the first step in using objectives is to create them. This is done on question bank level. Here you will see an example of the taxonomy of Bloom. In this gray area, you will see the domain, which is called remember. The white bars below the domain are the objectives. You can add 20 objectives or one. That's totally up to you. A domain is a way to group your objectives together. So first off, you begin with creating a new domain. This can be done with the orange button at the top. After you've created your domain, you can add your objectives by clicking on New Objective. This is the first step in creating the objectives. For now, we will navigate to the exercises. And here we will make sure that all of the exercises in my question bank are tied to an objective, which will be demonstrated later. In this exercises overview, you will see here a table of exercises. In total, my question bank consists of 120 exercises. These can all be found here. What we see here, beginning at the left, this is the item number. Next to that, we've given the exercise a name, and we've given it some metadata, which will also be demonstrated when creating an exercise. Whenever you're using your exercises in assignments and results are created, you will also see that these statistical values will be automatically created and generated by ANS. These statistical values will help you guide your way through the question bank exercises to make a selection of the exercises you would want to use for a next assignment. This also enhances the way on how to reuse and collaborate in the question bank. If you would like to see a short preview of your exercise, you can click on the View button at the top right. If you would like to go into your exercise and maybe edit something, you can click on the blue link here. For now, I will start with creating a new exercise, so we can go through the steps together. To do this, and if you have the rights, you can see the New Exercise button here. Here you will fill in the name of the exercise. After clicking Save, you're redirected to a new page. To begin, at the top, we have the same menu at the top with the tabs. Below, you will see the different tasks we're gonna do in this exercise. We will come to that later. Then on the left side, we will see the metadata. The metadata says something about your exercise. So I will first start with creating my exercise and then adding the metadata in a later stage. In the middle of the screen, you will be able to edit and create your questions in your exercise. On the right side, you will see a preview. This helps you see the exercise from the eyes of a student. It's good to mention a couple of things about exercises in ANS. The first thing, in ANS, it's possible to add multiple questions and descriptions to an exercise. To give an example, you could introduce your exercise by adding a new description, and here you can find the description types we have, and this will help you introduce the exercise. Then, as a follow-up, you could create a question in your exercise. Here you see an overview of all the question types we have in ANS. This means that an exercise can consist of multiple questions that are all about the same subject. In ANS, it's possible to randomize a lot of things. For example, the multiple choice alternatives can be shuffled, but also the exercises within an assignment can be shuffled. But what is kept in the same order in the same place are the questions in your exercise, because there is, of course, a reason that you started with your question A and then your question B. So we will not split them up, but we will also not shuffle them around. The second thing I wanted to mention here is that within this list of question types, these can be divided into two categories: open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions will be graded manually by the instructor based on a grading scheme. This is different from a closed-ended question, like for example a multiple choice or a hotspot question, in which ANS will automatically grade the answers of the students. I will demonstrate both to show you the differences and what steps need to be taken in both of these question types. I will start with the multiple choice question. In the multiple choice question, you will start at the top by formulating the question. So what is it what you would like to ask the students? You can make use of the rich content editor to edit your text. This is my question. I would like to ask the students to finish the payoff of ANS. So ANS is the satisfying ... Below, you will fill in the maximum of points the students can earn by answering this question correctly. If you would like to change the multiple choice to a multiple response, you can select this drop-down menu and go for multiple correct alternatives instead of just one correct alternative. These are the steps that need to be taken at the top. Now we will create the alternatives. These alternatives will the students see and will be able to pick from them. To begin, we start with the first alternative by clicking on Add Alternative. Here in the purple box you will see Formulate the alternative. This is the place where you will formulate the alternative. I will start with the correct answer. How does ANS know that this is the correct answer? By selecting this purple box. Then I will add some more alternatives, which are of course the wrong answers. And I will not award any points to these answer alternatives. Now I will click on Save, and then you can see the question is saved in the middle screen, and on the right side of the screen you will see the preview. So the student will see at the top the exercise name, the amount of points the student can earn with this question, what is the question, and what are the answer alternatives, and the student can answer by clicking on these radio buttons. So this is a closed-ended question. Now I would like to add a second question to my exercise by clicking on New Question again. Now I will select the open question type. The same steps apply. So at the top we will formulate the question. List the 5 steps of the assessment workflow in ANS. Again, we fill in the maximum amount of points, and the fields below are only used for written assignments. As we're focusing on a digital test, we will leave this for now. After filling in the question and the maximum amount of points, we will click on Save. So now we have created the question, as you can see here, but also on the right-hand side, where the students could then click to edit and formulate their response. But of course, it's also very important to create your grading scheme. This grading scheme can help you during the grading of the results of the students. And this will also give you the opportunity to assign points to the students. To create your grading scheme, please go to the grading scheme on the top left. First off, we will choose the method that we would like to use to grade. First, click on the three dots, and then you can see here the several grading types. We have points per criterion, rubric with levels, and a slider. Points per criterion are used to formulate several criteria, and per criteria the students can earn an amount of points. These points will then add up to the maximum amount of points. A rubric with levels is a way to formulate the levels the students can earn by answering this question. For example, it could be good, medium, or insufficient. The student will only earn one of the levels. Lastly, we have the slider. This is a more free way of assigning points. So this is not per se based on criteria or levels, but a more liberal way without any specific kind of criteria or levels. For now, I will stick to the points per criterion. This is also the default grading type, so if you would like to use this grading type, you can also skip this step and directly create your criteria. Creating your criteria can be done by clicking on this plus sign. Every criteria needs to be added by clicking on the plus. In my example, I will add 2 criteria because the total amount of points the students can earn is 2. To begin with the first one. This criteria is worth 1 point, and then I will describe what the student needs to do to earn this point. I will now list the 5 steps of the assessment workflow. A second point could be earned, so I will add another criteria, also worth 1 point, and the student will then have to mention the steps in the right order. And again, I click Save. Here you will see the question with the 2 grading criteria below. Now, my exercise is created and I have question A and question B. A next step could be to use the metadata, which can be seen in this outlined box. We will begin with the label. A label is assigned to an exercise to tell you something about the status of the editing process of this exercise. Usually, a question starts within the draft version. Then an example. It could be that you ask your colleagues to help you review this exercise, and you would say this exercise is then on the review needed status. This is also a way to help you collaborate with your colleagues, but also to be able to find the exercises that are ready to be put in an assignment in your entire exercise overview. So ideally, you would end your exercise in the accepted phase, which means it is accepted and ready to be used. These labels can be edited, and also new labels could be added in the settings of your question bank. Then here you will see the tags. Tags are optionally but definitely recommended to use. Tags say something about, for example, the content, the type, or the form of the exercise. It could actually be anything. A tag consists out of a key and a value. So a key is to group multiple values together. To give you a short example, if you're creating exercises based on a specific book, and now you would like to add 3 exercises per chapter. In order for you to categorize all the exercises that belong to that one chapter, you can use the chapter as a key, and then you can select the value, for example, chapter 1. After clicking on Create, the tag has been added to my exercise, and later on I will be able to filter on it. Like I said before, tags can be anything, and we will also make sure, after creating a tag for the first time, that we will add it to the question bank in the settings. In this way, it's easy to reuse your tags. Another example could, for example, be the complexity, and this is a medium. Then one final step in this exercise is making sure that the objectives that you've formulated in your question bank are now attached to the questions in the exercise. This will first help you with generating your assignments with these exercises, but will also help you analyze how well the students performed. It is also possible to then publish the results for the students, for them to then also see how well they performed themselves on these objectives. So, we will redirect to the objectives page, and then by clicking on the plus sign, we will link the objectives from the question bank to these questions. By clicking on the plus, a dialog will open where you can read your domains, for example, remember, and your objective from within the question bank. By selecting the box, you actually say that this learning objective is done by asking question A. Now you can see that the objective is added below the question. You can add multiple objectives to a question, and you can also add multiple objectives to the several questions within an exercise. These are the steps that need to be taken in the exercise. Now I will navigate back to my question bank, and I will see my newly created exercise added to the top of the question bank.